That's the one that usually up with the globe in it up top.
The embattled Patriots host their divisional rival, the New York Jets. Leahy with the kickoff, taken deep by Martin in the New England end zone. He's going to come out with it. Sammy Martin hit hard and dropped at the 14-yard line where the Patriots will take over. Troy Johnson on the tackle after a 15-yard return. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath with you from Foxborough Stadium. Let's check the Patriots starting offensive lineup. Four-year starter Bruce Armstrong, the mainstay of an offensive line that's seen a lot of shuffling. Mark Wilson replaces the injured Steve Grogan at quarterback, though Wilson is nursing an injured throwing hand. Stevens, number 1 rusher, number 2 receiver. The Patriots will use the 3 wide-out diamond offense. McMurtry replaces Perryman. Stevens gets a good block and turns the corner. He's up to the 20-yard line where he stopped there with James Hasty coming up from a corner to finally make the tackle. Here's the way the Jets line up defensively. Jeff Lageman, all rookie at outside linebacker last season, now moves to the new 4-man front for the Jets. Middle linebacker Clifton has been leading tackler for the last 6 years, and the secondary features rookie corner Tony Stargell and Eric McMillan, a Pro Bowler. In the Jets dime, there will be 7 defensive backs as Mays, Curtis, and Booty enter the lineup. Second down toss to Stevens, looks like the same play. Slips and falls and loses yardage on the play, -2 on that carry. Well, Joe Namath, these two teams trying to bounce back from blowout losses a week ago. How do you cope with that?
Well, first of all, you don't forget last week. It happened. The Jets were beaten up badly, especially by the Buffalo offense. They know where they made their errors. Now they have to correct them. Bruce Coslet is very enthusiastic, and so are the Jets, and they're optimistic about this game.
From the 18 of New England, this is a 3rd and 6 play. Stevens again, and this time he picks up the first down. He's all the way to the 30-yard line. Joe Kelly, linebacker, stopping him after a 12-yard gain and a first down run as John Stevens has carried 3 straight times. And obviously the Patriots, Joe, have seen how poor the Jets were defending the run Monday night against Buffalo.
That's true, and you see Kelly, number 58, on the right side of the screen, and Clifton, 59, both running to the right and Stevens cutting back. That was a major problem the Jets defense had last week, overrunning the play.
Stevens for the 4th consecutive carry. Got a yard or 2 before he's tripped up by the rookie corner Tony Stargell out of Tennessee State.
This Jet defense was surprised by the Bills by a formation that they weren't familiar with. Of course, the Patriots recognize that as well as the Jets after looking at films, but in talking with Rod Rust, he says, hey, the Jets know we're going to run at them, and we want to see if they can stop us.
Almost 6 yards a carry, the Jets surrendering on the ground. As Rod Rust told us yesterday, they were going to try to run the ball until the Jets proved they could stop it. First pass from Mark Wilson. Perryman makes the catch at the 30 and lost 2 yards. Mott and Washington were ready for that pass as Mark Wilson's first attempt is complete, but for minus yardage.
The defense was ready, especially Jeff Lageman, number 56, because of Lageman's pressure on Wilson that time. The Pats offense couldn't develop that play. This Lageman's been coming on strong. The whole defensive line is young and aggressive, and the Jets are pretty happy with him, but they've got to do something to stop the running game.
Greg McMurtry is in. This is the diamond offense of the Patriots. 3 wide receivers. Perryman is the only setback. Pass a little too short for Robert Perryman. It was off his hands and incomplete, and the Patriots will have to punt.
That'll bring up a 4th and 10 for the Patriots. Ball at the 30.
A good series defensively for the Jets. They had some runs on them earlier, but Mark Wilson seemed stymied by the coverage of the secondary.
Brian Henson to punt for the Patriots. JoJo Townsell is deep for the Jets. Townsell at the 34. Splits defenders and takes it all the way out to the 46-yard line where he's stopped by Marv Cook. Well, Bob Lobel at WBZ is with Victor Kayam. Bob.
Offense first down and 10. This is Travelers
Well, do you agree with that?
It's
his decision.
You don't seem very happy about it.
I'm not saying I'm happy or not. That's your inference. I believe that's the fairest way to do it. Since we're having an investigation of the whole incident, it would be unfair to penalize any individual until we have all the facts. That's what he has said to me.
Victor Kayam responding to the report that Commissioner Paul Tagliabue says no action until the NFL investigates. Ken O'Brien with his first pass complete to the rookie Rob Moore.
Rob Moore on the reception.
Ronnie Lepet drives him out of bounds after an 8-yard gain. Here's that offensive line for the Jets. Center Jim Sweeney, 7 years, is the anchor now. Toon, who is fighting a back injury, gets the start today. He and rookie Moore, a potent receiving combo for O'Brien, who is completing 55%. That's the Falcon set, where you get 4 wide receivers. Blair Thomas, rookie out of Penn State, is strung out and is taken out of bounds just a foot or so, it would appear, shy of first down yardage. Maurice Hurst chased him out. Let's take a look at the New England starting defense. Up front, Ray Agnew, 10th player in the draft, has earned a starting spot. The Patriots are banged up and thin at linebacker, but watch two-time Pro Bowler Johnny Rembert. He's their top tackler, has 2 interceptions. In the secondary, Lepet and Hurst have 3 interceptions each, and the New England dime defense has 6 defensive backs as Robinson and Coleman come into the secondary. Third and less than a yard for the Jets. O'Brien on the sneak would appear to have it. Well, Bruce Kozla told us yesterday that Blair Thomas would see a lot of action, and he has.
First down for the Jets.
Welcome to those of you that have watched the Denver-Buffalo game, with Buffalo pulling out that 1-point victory at Rich Stadium. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath in Foxborough, where the Jets and New England are scoreless with 10 minutes and 10 seconds and counting in quarter number 1. New York just completing the first down, 1st and 10 from their own 43-yard line, or excuse me, from the Patriots 43. O'Brien to Mark Boyer, is tight end, covered by the linebacker Ed Reynolds. Reynolds banged up but got the start today in place of Richard Harvey. And there's Boyer, who made the reception.
Boyer on the right side of the screen. First of all, O'Brien gets good protection from this offensive line, and Boyer just swings to the outside to make a good catch for about an 8-yard gain. But the key to that play was good protection to begin with by the offensive line.
2nd and 5 from the Patriot 38-yard line. 2 wides to the left as O'Brien retreats. Dumps it off complete to Baxter, and Baxter down the sideline for a Jet first down just short of the 25-yard line. Vincent Brown able to nudge Brad Baxter out of bounds as he caught the screen and took it for 13 yards.
Beautifully timed screen pass here. O'Brien waits until the defense is nearly on top of him and then drops it off smartly to Baxter with Haight out in front, number 79. But I tell you, Vincent Brown, just by that little grab of Baxter, saved some more yardage. Here you see the pressure coming in, but hey, the Jets are trying to let those guys come in a little bit. Tim Goad kind of takes O'Brien down rather hard.
First down, Jets from the 26 of New England, opening series of the game for New York. New England punted on its first possession of the ball. Hit in the backfield is Thomas, but he keeps his legs going and turns it into a first down run all the way to the New England 15-yard line. Impressive run by the rookie Blair Thomas for 11 yards.
And Blair Thomas is not quite 100% yet. He still has a problem with his leg. Here he shows a little bit of that speed he has to get to the outside, but more importantly, he broke that first tackle effort. I talked with Kenny O'Brien earlier, and he said they're going to try and use Thomas more than he's been used so far this season, especially in the passing game.
Bruce Kozla said yesterday that Thomas is going to be a force in this league. Mathis in motion. This is Baxter. He's to the 10. Ed Williams, who missed the tackle a moment ago on Blair, this time makes the hit on Brad Baxter.
Oh, but the Jets had a good surge by the left side of the offensive line that time. This Baxter has been some player. Last year, of course, he was on the developmental squad, and he's beaten everyone else this season. I'm surprised to see he's developed into such a fine fullback so fast.
He comes into the game tied for leading rusher honors with Freeman McNeil. Brad Baxter out of Alabama State. Baxter again. Didn't get much blocking, and the Patriots stacked it up, though Baxter did drive ahead for a couple of yards. Johnny Rembert and Ray Agnew combining to stop Baxter that time.
Ray Agnew, of course, is the #1 draft choice of the Patriots, and he'll come from the left side of your screen to track Baxter down from the backside, showing good speed. There you see number 92. Pretty good play, though. Criswell, number 61 of the Jets, is showing some good movement for an offensive tackle and leading that running play.
Just inside the Patriot 8-yard line, 3rd and 3. Boyer in motion. Thomas. Thrown back, it'll be close to the first down. It'll depend on the spot of the football here.
But I like that little cut that Thomas made. It appeared he made the first down. At least O'Brien and the Jets feel that way.
Final score.
As they unstack the bodies, it is a first down, signaled by Gordon McCarter, today's referee. There's Bruce Coslett, who also is the offensive coordinator of this Jet team. He's been called an offensive genius by some with his work with the Cincinnati Bengals. And he certainly has done one thing. He's gotten the excitement, enthusiasm back amongst the fans of these New York Jets, despite their blowout loss Monday night at the hands of Buffalo. Just over 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Baxter cuts up, keeps his feet going, and is finally tackled at about the 2-yard line.
Now that's just good running there, Tom. I mean, Baxter just keeps those legs driving, and big Mike Haight, who had been injured last week, number 79, the left guard of the Jets, you watch him pull from left to right. You see 79 get out in front of Baxter and does a good job of taking Vincent Brown out of the play. And look at Baxter. He just keeps driving. Great effort.
Bruce Coslett sends Watson and Duffy in as extra blockers at the tight end spot. The Jets have run 7 times, passed 3 times. This is a second down play from the 1. Baxter. Touchdown.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better first defensive series, now offensive drive by the Jets. There's good attack by the Jets offensive line in front. Freeman McNeil didn't quite get the kind of lick in you'd like, but Baxter found the end zone nevertheless.
Matic is the center. Tony Eason will hold as Pat Leahy, who is 6 for 6 in point after this year, makes it 7 for 7. Impressive drive for the New York Jets as they march down the field to take the lead, 7-0 over New England.
The New England Patriots, nothing.
Yes.
Just under 5.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter from Foxborough. Ken O'Brien hitting all 3 of his pass attempts, and the Jets moving primarily on the ground to get the go-ahead score. They covered 54 yards in 11 plays. There's that scoring drive with Baxter capping it off. Third straight game the Jets have scored on their opening possession as Pat Leahy sends the kickoff deep into the New England end zone. It'll be down there by Sammy Martin. Jets playing with a little wind in their favor right now, Joe, and that sent Leahy's kick well into the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you, that's got to be about a 25, 30-mile-an-hour wind. It's going to affect both of these teams with their running game and passing game. We'll be back in a moment.
Offensive unit, which has just driven 54 yards for the go-ahead touchdown, 7-0. Here's Mark Wilson handing to John Stevens as the Patriots on a first down play go again to John Stevens, who's been the workhorse so far in this offense. Stevens on the ground attacking that Jet defense, which was very soft against the run. Joe Mott credited for the tackle there. The numbers on Stevens so far this season. He's carried 5 times for 23 yards today.
Stevens hasn't had the benefit of an offensive line that's been working consistently together. These guys are still adjusting to their position, so Stevens' stats really don't show what kind of ball carrier he is.
And the Patriots have had to pass since they've been behind recently. They go up top this time, and it's knocked away at the last moment. Irving Fryer streaking downfield, but James Hasty broke it up.
Pretty darn good coverage by number 40, James Hasty. Fryer takes it deep downfield, right inside, and Hasty stays with him practically step for step. You'll see that Fryer has to slow down. Once again, this is a long throw, and the wind is directly into Wilson, so Fryer had to slow down just a hair, but good coverage by Hasty. He did what he had to.
There's the veteran Irving Fryer, who is the leading receiver for the Patriots. 3rd and 4. McMurtry is in for 3 wides. Wilson has his man Cook, the tight end, who rambles for a first down across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Let's check in with Bob Costas for an update.
45, Tony Stargell. Final score, Green Bay 24, Detroit 21.
Thanks, Bob. And that is the shocker with Jack Trudeau, we presume, replacing Jeff George at quarterback today, and the Colts pulling the upset. Here's John Stevens, and the Jets sacked it up for little or no gain, with Joe Mott leading the defensive charge.
Good first down defense by Mott and the Jet front. You want to try and put this offensive attack of the Patriots into the air, force Wilson to throw with this strong wind into his face, and odds are with 2nd and 10, he'll come back with some kind of pass. Personally, I'd be looking for a screen pass of some kind or an intermediate range pass. So the Jets should be laying for a kind of screen pass here, Tom.
Fryer and Dykes to the right, and now in motion is Fryer, and Stevens cuts back. Midfield and into Jet territory, ridden down by Eric McMillan. Hartley Dykes made the block that sprung Stevens as he cuts back for 20 yards.
Excellent cutback move by number 44, John Stevens. Screen pass, maybe they were expecting it. This is all individual effort by John Stevens. The Jets once again over pursued. Kelly, number 58, you saw was out of position. The Jets are so enthusiastic. They flow to the ball, but hey, they've got to stay at home and take care of their first duty and then pursue to the ball. They're overrunning so many of these plays.
Wilson has a man wide open, diving catch made for another Patriot first down. Hartley Dykes with his first reception of the day, his 10th of the season. It goes for 16 yards.
Stop by number 45.
Dykes has such good size and speed. He's working on Stargell, the rookie, man for man, and you can see young Stargell gave Dykes plenty of room that time.
A huge cushion given Hartley Dykes by Tony Stargell. Interesting that Dykes is 6'4" and Stargell only 5'11". Will the Patriots try to exploit that as well?
I don't know if the Patriots will, but I certainly would try it if I had anything to do with play calling.
McMurtry is in, replacing Cook, the tight end. Stevens tries to turn the corner, but cannot, and is stopped for no gain by Ron Stallworth.
That's number 96, Ron.
See, that pursuit of the Jets is right there. It's good, but they've been hurt last week and this by the cutback runs.
Update on the scores of the early starting games in Week 4 of the NFL season, including that shocking win by the Colts.
That
been
surprises,
0-3.
yeah, it really surprises me. I saw Indianapolis play last week. I thought they had to be the worst team in the NFL right now. They bounce up and bite Philadelphia. I imagine Buddy Ryan's a bit upset over there in Philly.
2nd and 10 for the Patriots, who trail 7-0. Pass intended for Stevens is broken up by Jeff Lageman. Loggeman got a big paw out there to knock it away. You see he's playing with that soft cast on his left hand.
On the left side of the screen, Bruce Armstrong, 78, has Loggeman out there, but Loggeman reads this play. See, he knows what's happening, and he gets that big arm up there to knock down the pass. Just an outstanding individual effort by Loggeman, reading the play and knocking down the pass.
And using that big bandaged cast to good advantage that time to knock it down.
He made a fine interception last week on a similar play that was called back.
Marv Cook is in at tight end. Perryman is the only setback as Wilson looks to pass. Complete to Perryman, who only gets a couple of yards out of it. Kyle Clifton rides him down, and it will be 4th down coming up for New England.
Well, they're going to try a field goal here, which is going to be 29-39, what, about 45-6 yards, and it's into a stiff wind. Now, Starofsky's been rather consistent. He's only missed 2 this year out of 6, and one was a 59-yarder, the other 49 yards. So he's been fairly accurate so far, within reasonable range.
46 yards on this attempt. Against the wind, and it just makes it through. 46-yard field goal by Jason Starofsky against the wind gets New England on the scoreboard with 31 seconds left in the quarter. The Jets still with the lead. It's 7-3.
Throughout the week, the team has been concerned with it, and there's no way a football team can concentrate on what they need to as far as the game goes itself. But again, that issue is more important than this football game. And what a play by JoJo Townsell. I see a late flag, however.
It was a 37-yard return of the kickoff by Townsell, but a penalty will be assessed the Jets.
Okay, I just saw that flag dropped after Townsell had been tackled.
10 yards, 1st and 10.
John Galvin is guilty, and Bruce Coslet's offense will be set back after a fine return by Townsell.
All right, Kenny O'Brien gets to play. I like Coslet's style, Tom. He has these guys loose. He's giving them an offense that they really believe in, and all the fellas, I'll tell you, when you believe in that head coach and you get along with him, the enthusiasm helps you play better.
And they huddle on the sideline, then charge onto the field to run the play, a la the Bengals. O'Brien's pass complete to the 25-yard line, where Rob Moore makes his 2nd catch of the afternoon, and then Ronnie Lepet takes him down as we tick down to the end of the 1st quarter here at Foxborough. And that will conclude quarter number 1 with the Jets leading 7-3.
That's the end of the 1st period here at Foxborough Stadium. Score.
Toon hasn't been playing. They didn't even have him out there the first series.
Back at Foxborough, the Jets have huddled on the sideline with Bruce Coslet, their head coach and offensive coordinator. We asked Bruce yesterday how many of those Cincinnati offensive gimmicks have come over to the Jets with him, and he said, well, they're all rattling around in there somewhere, pointing to his head, but he said, we just don't have the horses Cincinnati does to run everything. 2nd and 3. Blair Thomas stopped by Ed Reynolds. Lisa Olson covering the game for the Boston Herald. There she is in the press box. And perhaps she will be switched to a different beat after all this controversy. Bob Lobel of WBZ locally, the NBC affiliate in Boston, has said that he has learned that the Boston Herald will soon switch her to covering the Boston Celtics because perhaps she has been compromised by the ongoing controversy with the Patriots. Thomas in motion. O'Brien is 4 for 4 and now 5 for 5 as Thomas takes it for a Jet 1st down at the 30-yard line.
That's what the Jets and Kenny O'Brien would like to do. Get the ball into Blair Thomas's hands as many times as you can. Thomas in motion to the left of your screen, runs a little out pattern, and O'Brien is on target. There aren't any linebackers out there that can consistently cover Blair Thomas. He's excellent coming out of the backfield. Quick with the lateral moves and breaking away from the linebackers.
1st down New York from the 30-yard line. In motion, Thomas. O'Brien goes deep. A diving stab by James at the interception after Moore had gotten tripped up and fell to the turf along with Ronnie Lepet.
Well, Kenny O'Brien and the Jets predetermined on the snap of the ball or before that they're going deep to Rob Moore on that play, no matter what. He was covered beautifully that time by Lepet. He was not open. You see late in the play he falls down and the ball's nearly intercepted by Roland James, the strong safety of the Patriots.
Dime defense on the field for the Patriots here. It's 2nd and 10. Two wide receivers set to the right. O'Brien's pass complete for a short gain just across the 35-yard line. The catch made by Moore and then immediately hit by Lepet. 7-3 the New York Jets early in the second quarter. Here's the way the first quarter stats read.
Well, I think it's certainly too early to draw any kind of conclusion as to who's controlling this game so far. I think this New England Patriot defense that's given up the most points in the league, the NFL in 82, is better than that statistic. And they have Ed Reynolds back in the game, so I look for this defense to tighten up a bit.
3rd and 4. Looked like some premature movement as Burkett went in motion and penalty markers are down. Brent Williams got to the quarterback O'Brien, but the flags were already down. Did he start too early? Was he drawn off?
False start, 72 offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Brett Miller, in his 8th year out of Iowa, is guilty of the false start.
Brett's the right tackle here in the middle of your screen, number 72. And I tell you, he did not move much, right? This 72. Let's take another look at that, folks, and you'll see how much he has to move to be illegal. He just barely rocks a hair on. That takes some awful good eyesight by the linesman or the umpire to see that one.
Now 3rd and 9. Burkett the only receiver to the left. We have 2 to the right. Flags down again. O'Brien hits it to Moore, who slipped and then got up to make the catch, and Moore's all the way down to the 10 and in for the touchdown. Flags on the play. Let's see if that 70-yard strike will hold up.
Offside, number 96 defense, lined up in a neutral zone. 28 decline, touchdown.
Touchdown for the Jets.
Beautiful play for Costlin and his offense. The Jets, Kenny O'Brien right on target, and then you'll see Rob Moore, 85. First of all, he falls to the ground. Here he is on the bottom of the screen. He's going to go downfield and he'll slip as he turns to the inside, fall to the ground, get back up, make the catch, and then I'll tell you what's embarrassing. You watch number 42, Ronnie Lepet, one of the best corners in the league. That's embarrassing to get run away from just like that. I mean, I know Moore has some pretty good speed, but Lepet showed no speed at all in pursuit.
Leahy's point after is true, and there is another penalty marker down. There's Rob Moore, the rookie from Syracuse.
Offside, number 22 defense. The point is good. 5 yards will be assessed on the kickoff.
Coleman offside. The extra point stands, increasing the New York Jet lead to 14-3 after the touchdown grab 69 yards by Moore.
You're going to look at it as soon as we come back?
I know exactly.
Ball Feature Magazine that brings your news and all.
Yeah. I like the other replay better. You don't even see him fall down. Well, maybe we can do them both. Maybe we can do them both.
Will be available following the ball game. Outside the stadium at the dawn of the stadium parking lot, free service to help you the ball. We have the running ball batteries and you don't even need to call us. We're right here at the stadium.
Ken O'Brien hitting Rob Moore with a 69-yard touchdown pass. He's been on target so far today. Leahy ready for the kick. Squib kick. And the Patriots cover it. The Jets tried for the onside attempt, and the Patriots were able to get on it. Rod McSwain made the recovery.
Yeah, this touchdown in the last play. First of all, O'Brien gets excellent protection. You watch that offensive line up front there, and they're going to give him just excellent protection. I see well, all right. The big thing is Moore on the bottom of your screen falls down. He falls to the turf, and he gets back up. O'Brien had all day to get the ball off, and then Lippett, number 42, is, whew, he's embarrassed. He's going to have a hard time explaining to his teammate where his speed went.
Pitch to John Stevens, looking for a place to run, and ducks his head and gains only, in fact, lost maybe a yard on the play as the Jets string it out. And then Marvin Washington puts the clamps on Stevens. Check out the scores, including the overtime win by the Buccaneers at Minnesota.
Big divisional win for those fellas in Tampa.
And here are the late games. Battle of unbeatens, the Raiders and the Bears, with the Raiders holding an edge. They still haven't lost at the Coliseum under Art Shell. 11:52 remaining in the first half here. 14-3 Jets. Mark Wilson's pass complete. Marv Cook ducks one tackler and then takes it to the 30-yard line, but he's still going to be about 5 yards short of first down yardage.
Yeah, but that's a good play for the offense there. Wilson looked downfield, but Stargell, number 45, had been back there helping out, and Cook was able to slip underneath. So they got back 5 or 6 yards. You'd have to give the Jets the plus on that play to keep them from getting a first down and create this long yardage situation. Now the Jets want to get a pass rush. This is what they need in this kind of a situation.
Fryer, McMurtry, Dykes, and Jones, 4 wides for the Patriots, 2 to either side. Wilson chased and unloads it. Pressure caused that incompletion. McMurtry was closest to it, and Ron Stallworth was putting heavy pressure on Mark Wilson.
Wilson had no chance at all. Number 96, Stallworth, on the left side of your screen is going to break through along with Bird, number 90. And I'll tell you, the way this game is going, you wonder how long the Patriots will go without laying down. Sure, they've had a tough week at work, and I don't know how much their hearts is going to be in this game, especially if the Jets score once again.
Here's the punt by Hansen. Townsell lets it bounce and then gets away from it, and it takes a good New England bounce. It's going to roll all the way down to about the 1-yard line. Eric Coleman got between it and the goal line to make sure there was no touchback.
Unbelievable mistake by number 83, JoJo Townsell. He should have handled that pass.
69 yards. He signed, and a strategic move by the Jets, and tied for the leading rusher honors with Baxter coming into today's game. Boyer is in motion, and they give to McNeil again, and he fumbles, and the Patriots have it. Brad Williams recovers the fumble by Freeman McNeil, the first turnover of the game.
Garen Veras, number 90, who wanted to turn things around this season, changed his number from 60 to 90, may have turned things around for the Patriots. We'll find out in a few minutes.
Red Sox, 5. Second quarter score, Kansas City Chiefs 10, Cleveland Browns, nothing.
Yeah, let's see the handoff here.
Okay.
Looked like the Donnie Gross.
Good handoff. Oh, good play by Brent Williams, I believe.
Yeah, it was Williams.
Your kids can taste
That's
that
good.
old-fashioned flavor.
Can we see that again on this? Are we come? Okay.
That's a key run interference for you to all Patriots home games here in Foxborough. Trains leave South Station at 11:15 for 1 o'clock games. And they make various stops along the way. Round trip fare is just $6.20. You can buy your ticket on board the train. Call the team for schedule information. Now's the time to reserve your seats for all Patriots home games here at Foxborough Stadium. At halftime, stop by the advance sale ticket booth. located on the concourse. Next Sunday, the Seattle Seahawks will be here to take on the Patriots. Kickoff 1 o'clock.
Freeman McNeil's fumble, the first turnover of the game, the 12th takeaway for the Patriots this season. Garen Barris, number 90, caused it. Here's Stevens on a first down carry across the 40. Stopped there by Joe Kelly after a gain of 2 or 3. Watch the fumble here.
Well, it's a good handoff by O'Brien. You'll see that McNeil has control of the ball. But look, a fist goes through there and knocks the ball loose, which was Garen Barris's fist, and Brent Williams, 96, recovers. It was a good play by Garen Barris.
New England now stands at +6 in the takeover giveaway ratio, which is among the NFL leaders.
There you see Barris, number 90, with his right arm just knocked the ball loose from Freeman McNeil.
2nd and 7, New England from the 40 of the Jets. New York leading 14-3. Wilson complete to Dykes. Hartley Dykes has a first down, then is knocked flat on his back by Brian Washington. Still, it's 13 yards and a New England first down.
Good read by Wilson to Dykes. Good pass protection. The Jets are caught in a zone defense. They're backing out. You see the linebackers, and Dykes crossing underneath gets the yardage because Stargell was playing zone and tied up with the wide receiver. Good pass protection. The Jets need to get some pressure back there to disrupt Wilson. I think Wilson right now is playing the best football he's ever played. And in another 2 weeks, he'll be even better.
From the 27, first down, New England. Stevens on the sweep. Inside the 35, down to about the 33-yard line.
I say that about Wilson another 2 weeks. I think these scores are all the same, huh? Few finals. Wilson, the reason I say he's going to be better, folks, is that he hasn't been playing. He's now getting some work in, and he's sharpening up. There's no preparation like game speed, being out there and actually performing, and Wilson now for 2 weeks is having a chance to get his touch and feel back.
Boston blew the lead against the Blue Jays. The Red Sox, not far from here at Fenway Park, could have clinched at least a tie, but they lose to the Blue Jays today, who avoid the sweep. Robert Perryman fumbles, and the Jets recover. No, they say the ball was down. No fumble.
Oh, I'd like to see that again. That was pretty close. Joe Mott, the linebacker for the Jets, number 51, came from the backside to make a good play, and they're saying the ball was not fumbled. On the right side of the screen, number 51, Joe Mott's going to come across on the left side, rather, and you can't really see it, but he makes the play, and true, it wasn't a fumble. They were right this time. That's great. Nice going instant replay.
That was the first carry by someone other than Stevens, and Perryman almost fumbled, but it's ruled down, setting up a 3rd and 6. Wilson chased and almost threw an interception right into the hands of the defender Stargell, who is in front of Irving Fryer as Gerald Nichols was breathing down the neck of Mark Wilson.
Relentless pressure by Gerald Nichols. Here we see Irving Fryer and Stargell, man for man, battling down the field. Sure, it looked like he had him beaten, but Wilson wasn't trying to get there to begin with, and now Stargell says, oh, why didn't I hold on to this one? Right in the breadbasket.
Jason Starofsky on 4th down is in to attempt a field goal. It'll be a 40-yard attempt. This one with the wind, and Starofsky, who hit a 46-yarder earlier, connects from 40. 5:48 left in the first half. It's 14-6 Jets. Starofsky's kick taken by Townsell at the goal line. Another good return by JoJo Townsell, who takes it all the way out to the 39-yard line. Townsell had an earlier fine return nullified by penalty. This time he takes it right at the goal line and rambles to the 39, where he's stopped by Don Overton.
They'll put it in play at their own 39.
5:36 left in the first half from Foxborough. The Jets with a 14-6 lead. Tight end to the right, 2 wides to the left. Handoff to Blair Thomas. Cuts up and makes a nice gain out of it. He's still on his feet all the way into Patriot territory, just short of the 40-yard line. Reynolds and James tracked him down, but Thomas again showing explosive running ability. He goes for 21 yards.
Well, that's why Thomas was a #1 draft pick. There are different schools of thought. You watch Thomas, he's going to get out there and make this play happen himself. Now, Burkett, 87, is out in front of the play. Boyer, Moore, there's good blocking by the Jets. But they drafted this man #1 because he could make some big plays. You watch these offensive linemen get out in front. They don't quit. They keep driving. They're trying to get downfield. And that's the enthusiasm that's carrying over to the players from Bruce Coslin.
Thomas didn't sign until late August and has had some nagging injuries, but coming into his own today. Another carry for the rookie, and he's just short of the 35. Let's go to Bob Costas.
It is to the 36-yard line. Will be 2nd and 5. Second quarter. LA Raiders 17. The Chicago Bears 7.
And was that a slight smile we might have seen crossing the face of Marty Schottenheimer, the Kansas City coach, as he has the lead against his old team, the Browns. Play action pass, O'Brien, plenty of time, and floats it complete to Dressel. Chris Dressel spinning to the 15-yard line. Fred Marion got him to the turf, but another 21-yard pass completion for the Jets, who once again are threatening the New England goal.
And the best play action pass the Jets have had in a long time. The offensive linemen make this play. They make the defense bite a la Cincinnati. Coslin from Cincinnati. You're seeing some things that the Bengals have been successful with over the year. That's why Dressel, 84, was so wide open. Now watch these offensive linemen. They get on the defense and they keep driving. Now the safeties and the linebackers think it's run, and that allowed Dressel to get behind them.
First down for the Jets. O'Brien has hit 9 of 10 so far. Handoff to Thomas. Blair Thomas to the 5-yard line.
Down by Roland James.
Roland James knocks him down, and Thomas continues to impress, the young man that gained over 3,300 yards, second in Penn State history, less than 100 behind Kurt Warner.
Number 79, Mike Haight, leading in front of Jeff Criswell. The left side guard and tackle just opened a huge hole for Blair Thomas as he steps through there.
Almost had a face mask as well. Thomas has carried 7 times for 49 yards. 2nd and 1 from the New England 6-yard line. Jets leading 14-6. Thomas, nothing there that time. Pretty tackle by the veteran Garen Veras, who is in for the 3rd series in this game. He's been hampered by injuries and missed. 2 minutes left in the first half. The Jets with the lead 14-6 and threatening to score again.
I think you're doing fine. I love those shots of the linemen. I mean, that's been working out nice, yes. We got a 3rd down situation here. I think they're going to try and sneak it. If they have any tight ends in the game, they might try a play action pass and try and sneak somebody in there. I like play action at this point, yes.
Everybody knows when it comes to excitement.
They got 4 wides in the game, Joe.
They have 4 wides in the game, then you can bet they're not going to go play action, probably. Well, you know, TR, if they have 4 wides, then on one side or the other, we're going to see some kind of a screen technique, or else that one back that's in there, they would. Well,
yeah.
For your Citibank Patriots Visa card to receive for free here.
Okay.
NFL Visa card.
It's okay.
Indianapolis. How do you?
I don't know.
Ball is on the 7-yard line.
Tom Hammond and Joe Namath from Foxborough Stadium. 2 minutes left in the first half. 14-6 Jets. And they have a third down from the New England 7-yard line. 3rd and 2. 4 wide receivers in the game. McNeil is the only running back. O'Brien in the shotgun as Mathis goes in motion. O'Brien, who had missed only one pass previous to that, threw it too high for Mathis. He was covered by Roland James.
And covered well, I might add. I'm not too sure. Had that ball been thrown on target, it wouldn't have been intercepted. At the top of the screen, you see number 38 going over there for Terrence Mathis. Now, if that ball's on target, I'm not too sure that James wouldn't be taking it the other way. But the Pats generated a pass rush that time on O'Brien, and he had to unload it rather quickly.
You see what Leahy has done in the field goal department this year. The 17-year veteran, the all-time leading Jets scorer, adds 3 more to his total as New York, in the waning moments of the first half, marches down the field for 3, upping their lead to 17-6. And he told us yesterday it hurts to take the snap. He's hit 6 of 11 for 42 yards passing here in the first half, as the Patriots have not generated much offense. Leahy, after kicking a 24-yard field goal, sends the kickoff deep to Martin. Martin had a crease for a moment and scored it free to the 25-yard line before he's tackled by John Galvin. There's Mark Wilson, the quarterback, replacing Steve Grogan. Coach Rod Russ said the two were pretty even during the preseason. He made a decision to go with Grogan. Wilson was very disappointed about that. And here's the banner over Foxborough Stadium. And the crowd is cheering that message. New England with a first down at the 25-yard line. 3 wide receivers. Wilson goes underneath, and it's dropped by Stevens right off his shoulder pad.
Classic example of the receiver taking his eyes off the ball. Wilson throws the ball right on target. On the left side, number 44 will be coming into the screen, and here he turns his head just briefly. Might add that Pat Leahy did a good job of getting that kickoff into the end zone against the stiff wind, and so the Pats have to start at their own 25. Nice kickoff by Pat Leahy.
See, Wilson and Stevens dropped that when he had caught 10 passes, number 2 on this Patriot team. Wilson going long. It's behind Fryer, the intended receiver, allowing Stargell to bat it away. But Joe Fryer was behind the rookie.
Yes, you see, he had Stargell beaten a step or two, but he forgot to look for the ball, and Wilson let it go. Stargell's a premier receiver in the league, and now Stargell's a rookie. He's going to learn some things today. You see the ball's behind Fryer. It should have been out in front regardless of when Fryer turned to look. So it was a bad pass, but this young man Stargell, he's done a really good job so far. The Jets are awful high on him, and hey, going against Irving Fryer and holding your own, buddy, you're doing one hell of a job.
3rd and 10. Pressure on Wilson, who steps up and delivers incomplete. Again, a drop ball, this time by Irving Fryer.
Concentration, that's the key to being a good pass receiver. You can go ahead and get open, run by people, but if you don't look the football in, keep your eyes on it all the way, even the best of them are going to drop him. Here we see Irving Fryer making $12 million a year almost, maybe not quite that much. John Stevens, the running back, making who knows how much. These guys forget the fundamentals. You got to follow the ball in and catch it.
Hansen's punt, taken by Townsell at the 35. 5-yard return to the 40, and the Jets will have the ball with a 17-6 lead.
Brought down by Marv Cook. So the Jets will have the ball, first down and 10.
O'Brien's pass on the first play after the punt is incomplete, intended for Chris Burkett, with Ronnie Hurst or Maurice Hurst defending on the play for New England.
Well, he's defending and he gets tangled up. Now, whether it's intended or not, he definitely interferes with the pass receiver. I'm surprised I didn't see a yellow flag. on the play. I mean, Hurst got tangled up. There should have been a flag. Intended interference or not, I mean, he definitely interfered with it.
Ken O'Brien has hit 9 of 12, 150 yards, including a touchdown. Plenty of time, but off target on the pass. It looks like he intended Mathis to break outside. The pass went inside. Brent Williams was putting the pressure on O'Brien, who had to let it go.
O'Brien did a good job letting it go at the right time, but both receivers, Terrence Mathis and 83 Townsell, both broke in opposite directions from where O'Brien thought they were going that time.
A minute 13 left, coming up at halftime. NFL Live with all the news. That's where football fans know they'll get the news, such as the breaking story of Lisa Olson here in New England, an update on that controversy at halftime with Bob Willen O.J. Complete pass to Mathis, who takes it out of bounds after a jet first down into Patriot territory. Junior Robinson was covering Mathis, but gave him a lot of cushion. And Bruce Coslet's team completes it for 13 yards at the 109 mark.
And I like what Bruce Coslet's receiver Mathis did that time. He got both feet down in bounds. He's just a rookie. You know, in college, they only needed one in bounds. Well, he's worked on it. He got the other one down just in time.
O'Brien steps up, heads for the end zone. Moore at the 10. The rookie Moore once again beating Ronnie Lepet, and the Jets call a timeout with 59 seconds left after a 43-yard completion.
Excellent pass protection up front by Cadigan, and O'Brien smartly steps up and gets it inside to Moore. Ronnie Lepet, number 42, is having a tough afternoon out there, folks.
O'Brien pays the price, but he'll take it.
And he quickly calls timeout. That's heady right there. He didn't waste any seconds off the clock. He immediately turned to the referee and called timeout. Heads up play.
Well, the rookie Rob Moore is schooling the veteran Ronnie Lepet this afternoon. Moore already has a 69-yard touchdown catch over Lepet.
You know, I noticed, we have the ticker again. I noticed that Moore left the game with something happening to his side, and for the first time I see Al Toon out on the field for the Jets.
Toon has been fighting back spasms. Makes an appearance on the field as the Jets will put it in play from the New England 11-yard line. First down there with 59 seconds left. Already New York holding a 17-6 lead. They've dominated the first half here at Foxborough, bouncing back from that defeat at the hands of the Bills on Monday night. O'Brien's pass intended for Mathis and incomplete. Junior Robinson covering for the Pats.
Covering, but really had nothing to do with the play. O'Brien simply overthrew Mathis that time. Misfired. Kenny said, that's all right. Hey, I'll get the next one.
There are the numbers on O'Brien, 10 of 15 and approaching 200 yards.
And he's getting good pass protection. His receivers are holding the ball. You don't see them dropping passes as the Pats have been dropping them. It's good effort by this offense so far.
Two wide receivers to either side on 2nd and 10. And the pass complete inside the 5-yard line to Burkett. Marion wraps him up. And as the clock ticks under 45 seconds, the Jets are ready to go with no huddle. Third down play. Touchdown, New York. Freeman McNeil.
Excellent execution. Bruce Coslet should be happy. They came back with the play that was already predetermined, and it worked. And Freeman McNeil, the ageless Freeman McNeil, should we say, 10 years. You don't see many running backs around for 10 years. Hits up the middle with that trap play, and boy, I'll tell you, Big Mike Haight, number 79, comes across to really put a block on Ed Reynolds or Brent Smith, one of the two, Brent Williams, one of the two.
And whistles before Leahy can get the extra point attempt up.
On the field, we roll touchdown. The play is being reviewed.
So Gordon McCarter telling us the replay booth is having a look at that one. I didn't really see any question about it, but perhaps he was down short of the end zone.
Well, we'll take another look and see if we can decide or determine whether he is in fact over the end line or the goal line here. He's not down on the ground yet. And where is the ball? The ball is shy of the goal line, I think, or it may have just broken the plane. But the big thing is, I think it's inconclusive. Let's watch where that football is when Freeman McNeil hits the ground. It's where the ball is. Now then, does it break any part of that plane? I think it does, and I think this is inconclusive. I think we should see the touchdown stay. You can't tell me that that ball was definitely breaking the plane or definitely not breaking the plane.
Stands is rolled. Touchdown.
And Gordon McCarter agrees, along with the replay official Chuck Haberling. It is ruled the second touchdown of the season for Freeman McNeil. Leahy now to attempt the extra point. The New York Jets taking firm command of this game with 33 seconds left in the first half. It's now 24-6, and Victor Kayem and his Patriots, you have to ask the question, has the controversy with Kayem and Lisa Olson and the entire Patriot team starting to take its toll? Kayem is going to be on the field at halftime as they retire John Hanna's jersey, and it'll be interesting to see the reception Kayem gets from the fans here at Foxborough. We'll be coming back to Foxborough for that presentation and to check out how Victor Kayem is received by the New England fans. Certainly they're not receiving this first half very well.
I'm curious to see how Coach Rust's team is going to perform the second half. I know Rod Rust. I know he's going to get in that locker room and say, all right, fellas, you've played like dogs the first half. Are you going to quit, or are you going to go out there and show me what you have? So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Pats respond the second half.
Joe, often you see adversity draw a team together, but in this case it looks like the Patriots are just distracted and listless and making mistakes like dropping the football, and their defense surrendering huge chunks of yardage to the Jets.
I agree, the dropped passes are a lack of concentration, but I give credit to the Jets defense and offense. I think these guys have come storming back from last Monday night's defeat with a great attitude, and they're performing well.
First half domination by the Jets. The squid kick picked up on the bounce by Cedric Jones, and he returns it to the 27-yard line. Mark Wilson will come back on the field one final time here in the first half.
29 seconds, the wind's at your back. What would you do? I know what I'd do. Go deep 3 times in a row if that's what it takes. 4 times, you know, 3 times then punt, whatever. But they should try to get something on the board before the half is up, and they have 29 seconds to do it. I would throw the ball deep, and I'll bet we don't see it.
Well, with a full complement of timeouts and down 24-6, what do you got to lose? Well, Wilson does go as far as he can throw it, and it's incomplete. Fryer double covered. Stargell was the man that finally knocked it away.
Well, that's good. As a defensive back, what you do in this case is keep your man, the receiver, short of the goal line. You want to keep yourself between the receiver and the goal line, and Stargell did just that the last time, and he got some help from McMillan. But with the size of Irving Fryer on Stargell, or the size of Hartley Dykes, McMurtry, I think it's a wise move putting that ball up in the air on these shorter cornerbacks.
Wilson has missed his last 5 pass attempts, and he'll be sacked here back to the 20-yard line. Marvin Washington gets credit for the sack. His first sack of the season after coming in a reserve role for Stallworth. And Mark Wilson under center now with the clock down to 12 seconds. Stevens. And that should end the first half.
The Jets should call timeout quickly to force the Patriots to punt there. There were 4 seconds left. A quick timeout. Who knows? Maybe a block one.
Well, the boos ring out from Foxborough Stadium as the New England Patriots leave the field, having been dominated by the Jets. It's 24-6. Let's go to Bob Costas at NFL Live. That's all right. NFL Live and Bob Costas. Eventful day here at Foxborough, and we had the halftime ceremony that we saw a little bit of with NFL Live a moment ago. And in some ways, Joe, it's a shame that John Hanna, one of the great players in this league and a fellow Alabama alum, as you are, was overshadowed by all the controversy over the Lisa Olson incident.
Yes, but John overshadowed a lot of defensive players over his years, and it's a shame it had to happen this way. The whole incident's been ugly. I want to talk more about football right now. The Jets have been terrific offensively, defensively. They've executed beautifully. The offensive line, this may be their best game to this point of the season.
I posed to both head coaches yesterday the question about what kind of team bounces back best from a blowout, a veteran team a la New England or a young enthusiastic team like the Jets. I think we've gotten the answer to that.
We have, and also again, the Jets have been more focused, and you can understand New England hasn't had a chance, their players, to focus in entirely on their football, and I think they're paying a price for it today. Too, I think they're going to fight back because I know...
I'd expect heavily in favor of the New York Jets.
11-year-old Megan Brennan of Wickham, Massachusetts. Megan is this week's winner of the Toys R Us Teen Boy Teen Girl.
Kick went out of bounds, and so we will begin from the 35-yard line with the New York Jets in first possession for the second half and leading 24-6. Total offense heavily in favor of the Jets, and Ken O'Brien's having a fine afternoon. Johnny Hector, the lone setback behind Ken O'Brien on this first down play. Burkett wide to the right, Moore and Mathis to the left. Hector bounces outside and has a big gain. 11 yards to the 46-yard line. Ronnie Lepet on the tackle for New England, and the Jets taking up right where they left off in the first half.
Once again, I'll tell you, Criswell and Haight both did a terrific job opening that hole for Johnny Hector.
You can recheck the scores. There are the early starting games, including that shocker. Still has us shaking our heads. The Colts beating Philadelphia, and halftime scores in the late starting affairs. O'Brien completes it in the flat to Rob Moore. The rookie Moore's having a big afternoon. He already has a 69-yard touchdown catch. Let's check the pennant races in Major League Baseball. Toronto coming from behind to beat the Red Sox and avert the sweep. Chicago knocks New York out of it. Pittsburgh is the champion in the National League East. So one race still up for grabs. That's the American League East. Still not decided between Boston and Toronto. Rob Moore has 6 catches, 131 yards today. This will be Hector reversing his field and gaining about 4 yards. Rembert and Reynolds, 2 linebackers inside for the Patriots, combined to make the stop on Johnny Hector.
Well, Rembert's been doing a terrific job. He is the leading tackler, number 52, the outstanding linebacker of the Patriots. The other linebackers have been hurt. They've been missing some playing time. We just heard Reynolds' name called. He's getting in the action. He's kind of playing his way back into shape. But right here, Reynolds is the premier linebacker back, and they missed Tippett. That's what I'm trying to say. They missed Tippett tremendously from this defense.
Tippett injured with a hamstring and not playing today, one of the inactives. O'Brien's pass on target and complete to Moore. Moore out of bounds at the 21-yard line of New England, again beating the 7-year veteran Ronnie Lepet. 24 yards on that one.
Beautiful pass. Lepet is just running in circles. Moore has him turned around. This time he'll take Lepet to the inside, then swing back to the outside here, and the ball's just thrown outside beautifully. And this is an afternoon so far that I'm sure Ronnie Lepet would like to forget about.
Lepet has 3 interceptions, tied for the lead on this team, and 21 for his career. He missed all of last year with a ruptured left Achilles tendon, but he's being taken to school by the rookie today. Blair Thomas breaking tackles. Didn't get a very large gain, but still showed us the power. Earlier we saw the quickness of this rookie from Penn State. Ray Agnew, another rookie, gets credit for the tackle.
Ray Agnew defensively.
Here's a look at Blair Thomas.
Lost a yard there.
All-American.
Second down. 11.
First Jet to wear that number 32 jersey since Emerson Boozer back in the era of 66 to 75. And seeing more playing time today than he has all season. Another carry. No. O'Brien has it on the play action. And he looks for the end zone and then throws it away. O'Brien made a good play fake, and then his protection broke down a little bit and he sailed it out of the end zone.
Well, there was good coverage downfield, a fine fake by O'Brien and the running back, as well as the offensive line, making it look like run. You see, he'll stick that ball out there and then take it back, you see, which can be dangerous at times because you risk having it knocked out of your hand. But O'Brien smartly got Vincent Brown off balance, and then Ray Agnew says, here, you take a seat on your pants right now, and we'll come back to you in a little while, folks.
And all the details on the NFL team shirt offer.
What's Hannah's number, Joe?
73.
73, okay. The #1 draft choice of the Patriots, the 8th player taken in the draft this year, is the injured. 3rd down and 11. O'Brien from the shotgun. It'll be short of the first down as Mathis had to come back and get the ball, and he gets a very generous spot from the official. It's going to be close where they spot it. It looked like he clearly went out of bounds short of the first down.
Yeah, well, that's where that line judge has just placed the ball. He had his foot in another spot there for a brief second, and then he moved it back. I don't think he's going to have the first down. It'll be interesting to see what the Jets do. But Terrence Mathis comes back to the ball the way a receiver should. O'Brien puts the ball in the right spot. The wind certainly affects this pass, and it's a good 6 inches, a foot and a half short, I'd say.
And the Jets are going to go for it on 4th down. They are at the 12-yard line of New England. And they're not going to make it. Johnny Rembert, the Pro Bowl linebacker of the Patriots, led that defensive charge on Brad Baxter. Roland James got a piece of it and then was joined by a lot of other white jerseys. And it looked from here anyway that they had stopped him, and they have.
Well, ask me, would I have gone for the first down? It's easy now. No, I'd have put Pat Leahy in there to get the 3 points, make it 27, and have 21-point lead.
Looks like Coslett isn't happy with the spot of the football.
Probably not, but the Jets did not get good drive off the ball. As you see, the Patriots getting up underneath the Jets and creating a stalemate, and then Roland James and Johnny Rembert get in there to throw them back along with Fred Marion. Would like to have that 3-point now and a 21-point lead, but you know those players for the Jets, they wanted to get that first down. They wanted to go for it. They really didn't want to try a field goal there.
Let's see if the defensive stand can ignite the Patriots offense now. Wilson hit as he tries to pass by Dennis Byrd. It'll be an incomplete forward pass.
Excellent rush by Byrd, the second-year player. Hey, he has some quickness, and he is relentless out there as a defensive player. He gets fired up. On the middle of your screen there, number 90 fights his way through Chris Gamble, the left guard of the Patriots, makes him look bad, just breezes right by him.
Dennis Byrd, already legendary for his intensity, only in his second year. Marty Lyons played a little trick on him last year. In the preseason, they told him he was going to be sent down to Bridgeport, the Bridgeport Jets. He believed it for a while as Wilson's pass is knocked down by Joe Kelly, intended for Hartley Dykes. And Byrd approached the final preseason game against Kansas City with such intensity that he ended the game on a safety to win it in overtime. The only time in NFL history, preseason or otherwise, the game has ended on a safety. 3rd and 10 coming up for New England. Mark Wilson 7 for 18 this afternoon. On the sideline, complete for a first down to Fryer. Knew right where he was versus the first down marker and made the catch in front of Tony Stargell.
Well, this is the way it's supposed to work, folks. You see Fryer get a press down there. This is actually a press and bail technique is what it's called by Stargell, the cornerback. He climbs up and makes it look like it's going to be a man, and then he bails out the play zone, and Fryer just ran a stop pattern. Wilson threw it in there beautifully.
First down, New England. Approaching 11 minutes left in the third quarter. 24-6 New York. Wilson down the sideline. Caught by Fryer, but was out of bounds. No, it's Dykes, but it'll be ruled incomplete. He was out of bounds. Again, working on the rookie Tony Stargell of the Jets.
Oh, well, Stargell does a good job here, Dykes. But the ball carries him out of bounds a little bit. That was good coverage by Stargell. You see, the cornerback knows that white line is there, and that's his teammate, too. So he uses the sideline.
Update on the scores with our Hertz 10-minute ticker. As Kansas City blanking Cleveland, the Browns' offensive woes continue. Raiders in that battle of unbeatens with a lead, and Houston trying to make it 2 in a row with a win over San Diego. Chris Singleton, the rookie linebacker of the Patriots, knocked unconscious, but he has regained consciousness and will be back. He's in the locker room now being tested. There is Michael Mays. There's a flag down as they try to sort this out. Mays with the interception. Let's see if it'll stand.
Well, they're going to call roughing probably on 22 McMillan, but maybe they're not. I see the Jets are excited. McMillan came with a safety blitz that time, and Wilson unloaded quickly. His receiver was not looking for the ball and obviously didn't read the safety blitz. So Wilson paid the price not only physically, but with the interception.
Gordon McCarter will sort things out.
I hope so.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. He slammed the quarterback to the ground. This occurred after the interception. 15 yards from the dead ball spot, and the Jets will keep the football. First down.
After the interception, that's a fine line here. Let's take a look, folks. Does he throw him to the ground there? Yeah, I tell you, that's close to after the interception. It probably is. Good defensive call.
3-yard line. It'll be first and 10.
Wilson slammed to the turf. His head took a pretty good bounce off that artificial turf, but the interception stands by the New York Jets.
Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator for the Jets, mixing things up nicely.
And the offense not doing too badly either. That one complete to Toon, and he keeps his string alive. That is 66 straight games that Al Toon has caught a pass.
Second down and 2.
Great athlete, that man. He just makes this offense so much more dangerous when he's healthy, when he's out there playing. The Patriots were concerned because they run a different kind of defense. When Toon's on the field, they've got to pay attention to him.
Second and 2. The Patriots hurting for linebackers, especially after Singleton has gone out, been knocked unconscious. Brad Baxter, good running room, spins just shy of the 20.
Number 59.
Vincent Brown on the tackle for the Patriots as the Jets, with that relentless attack, keep piling up the yardage against New England.
Brad Baxter right up the gut. Again, excellent blocking by Cadigan and Jim Sweeney up front. A huge hole. I am beginning to wonder if this Patriot defense isn't as bad as the 82 points they gave up previously in the first 3 weeks. They certainly do look it.
The Jets making them look bad today, as the Bengals did a week ago. This time, though, the defense comes up with a sack. Brent Williams got through to send O'Brien down. Williams, who led this team with 8 sacks a year ago, gets this one for -9.
Just a bull rush by Brent Williams through Mike Haight. Haight playing with some pain on the left side. Number 79 tries to block Williams, but you see Williams driving Haight back almost into the quarterback. Just a bull rush by Brent Williams.
Well, just when the defense of New England was reeling, they come up with a big play. Let's see if they can stiffen up now with 2nd and 17 facing New York. Baxter. Touchdown. Brad Baxter with good blocking takes it 28 yards for the Jet touchdown.
This is unbelievable. I mean, here we're looking at a Jets team that really was beaten badly last week by the Bills, and they are looking tremendous today. Indianapolis, I thought, was the worst team. They beat Philadelphia today. How do you know in the NFL who's going to be there from one week to the next?
Leahy's extra point is good. Well, perhaps in retrospect, it was predictable, as the New England Patriots, reeling from the Lisa Olson controversy, have left their enthusiasm somewhere else today.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, can you run it again? Let me look at it one more time. Yes.
Leahy's kickoff following the touchdown taken by Cedric Jones. Jones is to the 22 before he's spun down by Joe Mott.
Excellent blocking the last play. The left tackle, Criswell, as well as Haight Wall off the inside. Then Dave Cadigan pulls and kicks out, and watch number 72 lead all the way down the field. Just a beautiful play as it develops here. You'll see 66 kick out, and then number 72, Brett Miller, lead downfield. What a convoy. And then Baxter, with some speed, I might add, just bursts through there and gets to the end zone.
May have heard the boos as Mark Wilson comes back in at quarterback for New England. Steve Grogan is injured and will not play today, and Wilson is at the controls. His backup would be the rookie Tom Hodson. Wilson complete to Fryer for a first down. Irving Fryer was telling us yesterday that Wilson throws with a lot more velocity than does Grogan. The ball gets there quicker, and thus Mark can hold it a little longer.
Their own 37.
Something that develops the patterns a little better.
Oh, sure, they can get downfield. The ball gets to the receiver more quickly. There's Hodson, the young quarterback out of LSU. You can't use Hodson right now unless you want to run a limited offense. He can't recognize or doesn't recognize what the NFL defenses are doing just yet.
Penalty markers. Wilson will be sacked, but it appeared the Jets were offside.
I'm not too sure it was the Jets or that left side of the offensive line of the Patriots, but that is the major problem for the Patriots offense right now, their line. I mean, they haven't played together very much, and they're not doing a good job of blocking.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Now let's take a look at it. You see the Jets there, and I tell you what, that could have been called either way, but Dennis Byrd, number 90, gets called for being offside.
For the Patriots at the 42.
First and 5 for New England from their own 42-yard line, with the Jets holding a commanding 31-6 lead.
Sure. Right now, Tom, if you're the Jets defense, what you don't want to do is give up the big gainer, the long bomb right now. Make the Patriots work.
John Stevens has a first down, cuts back and gets more. Just short of the 40 of the Jets. Marvin Washington finally chasing down John Stevens, who picked up 27 yards.
Stevens is a relentless runner. I mean, he's as hard as a rock, powerful and fast if he gets a hole. That right there is just simply poor tackling. I mean, Travis Curtis should have made the tackle for a virtually no gainer.
Stevens drops his second pass of the day on the attempted screen from the New England hurry-up offense.
Oh, and they had something out front there. He had a convoy of blockers, and that's the second pass that Stevens has simply dropped.
Only 36,724 here for the game today, and perhaps, Joe, witnessing the disintegration of a franchise. Can this team cope with all the adversity they've seen on and off the field and come back to be respectable the remainder of the season?
Yeah, it remains to be seen. There's talk among some guys that, yeah, we have the character, we do. Well, we'll see. You know, the way they're playing, no, they're not going to bounce back, but we'll find out how many guys have the kind of character to come back.
Pats pick up the blitz there, and Fryer can't catch up with the football. He had outraced Don Odegaard to the end zone. as Wilson and his lineman picked up the blitz and gave Fryer a chance for 6.
Well, Fryer nearly gets to this ball. Odegaard does a terrific job. I mean, you couldn't be in much better position than this, and the ball's right out in front there, just a hair long. Good defense, and the pass was just a hair off. You'd like your receiver to try and leave his feet for that kind of play, but when you're running full stride, it's hard to make a leap. There's
Lisa Olson, who is covering the game for the Boston Herald. It'll be interesting in her story tomorrow to see how she reads the Lisa Olson incident and its effect on today's game. Overton into the running back, gets the fake as flags fly, and Wilson's pass batted down by James Hasty.
For number 86, Greg McMurtry.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Dennis Byrd a little bit anxious again this last play. And Wilson throwing a pass he'd like to have back because McMurtry was open.
Offside, number 90, defense. 5 yards, repeat, 3rd down.
Correction with a penalty.
Take another look at this. You see the receiver's going to be open. It's pretty good. Oh, well, Dennis Byrd, first of all, jumps offside. Sure.
About the only battle New England has won today. They've only been penalized once for 5 yards. The Jets assessed 40 yards in penalties. Irving Fryer's in motion, now set sail downfield. Wilson intended for McMurtry, and Hasty again with a good defensive play. You know, James Hasty has really done a good job defending those passes today. He's knocked down 2 or 3.
That was a sensational play by Hasty that time. Hasty just closed the gap there on the left side of the screen. It looks like it's going to be a completion. Now watch Hasty speed up right there and get that hand up. Excellent defensive play. Wilson, he just knew he had a completion that time. Wilson did. Is he frustrated or what?
He's hit only 9 of 24 for 76 yards for Rod Rust's team today. And on 4th and 5, New England's going to go for it. Wilson stands in and then throws it too high for Hartley Dykes. And the boos ring out once again. Rod Rust was telling us yesterday, he said Mark Wilson is a tough guy mentally and physically. He's playing with an injured hand today, and mentally he's going to have to be tough because the fans are on him after a subpar performance today.
Standard power and the top available power.
Okay, I don't have to say it, right? All right, they'll love that. Ken O'Brien still at the controls. Second all-time New York Jet passer in yardage. Joe Namath is the man that holds the number 1 spot. O'Brien threw it into traffic that time, but Moore made a nice catch. It'll be close to a 1st down. And Ronnie Lepet again was the victim of the rookie Moore, and Lepet, Joe, is going to see this rookie out of Syracuse in his dreams tonight. There's Moore as we check the scores on our Hertz ticker one more time. Kansas City airing it out now. That Raiders score is still a 7-point bulge for Los Angeles, and Houston up 7. Blair Thomas close to midfield. Rembert and Brown on the tackle, and Joe Namath. We've seen a couple of rookies really emerge today for the Jets in running back Blair Thomas and receiver Rob Moore, each having big days.
Oh, big days. And Moore I'm really impressed with, too. I mean, he's such a big target and handles himself so well out there. This Blair Thomas, I knew he was good. I had talked to the Jet players early in training camp when they first got a look at Blair Thomas in those mini camps. I said, this guy is special. I mean, he can come out of the backfield and put moves on you, and he can carry that rock as well. Special player.
Averaging 5 yards a carry. Tries to make the corner. He's being strung out and still gets about 3 or 4 yards out of it. Roland James chasing him out of bounds.
He did. He changed gears. Blair Thomas, he changed gears a couple of times there to set up the opportunity to gain a few yards. I mean, New England has him cut off. They have him for a no gain right here. They have it stretched out. Now see how he changes gears just in those strides where he's able to get outside of James and make it a plus yardage play.
Now 11 carries, 55 yards for Blair Thomas. And fellow rookie Moore has 8 receptions, 164 yards. Hector's in motion, Thomas with a handoff. And he fights close to the first down with Garen Veras hanging on.
Garen Veras on the defense.
The Jets content now to let that running game operate and let the clock tick away, holding a 31-6 lead.
They spotted at the 42.
Coming up next week, another fine menu of football tidbits for you here on NBC. NFL Live kicks it off at 12:30. Many of you will see the Jets take on the Dolphins in another key Eastern Division race. The Jets and Dolphins emerging as 2 primary contenders. Some of you will see Seattle against the Patriots or Kansas City versus Indianapolis. And then that big game involving the Bengals, who appear to be back into Super Bowl threatening form once again this season. O'Brien throws it away, incomplete pass.
Nope. Number 7 there. You know, he reminds me also a little bit of Boomer Esiason move around. Now you see this Cincinnati offense that they've had now with the Jets, and it's going to make these Jets a much better team. I watched the Cincinnati play this New England team last week, and they're awesome. Boomer Esiason, Kenny O'Brien, they have control of this offense by Costlet and Sam White. You're going to see a lot of good offensive football.
Pryor is deep to receive Prokop's first punt of the day. They had to nudge him awake over on the Jet bench to get him out there to punt for the first time. Bounds at the 5 and goes into the end zone, so Prokop will not add to that league-leading inside the 20-yard statistic. It is a touchback, and Wilson getting ready to return to the field. The New England offense held without a touchdown today, takes over at its own 20 after the kick reached the end zone from the foot of Prokop. Mark Wilson still the quarterback, and being sacked, he's in the grasp and control back at the 10-yard line. Scott Mercereau records the Jets' 2nd sack of the day. Well, in attendance today, Patrick Sullivan, the general manager of the Patriots. Earlier, Victor Kiam said there would be some changes in the front office of New England. Paul Tagliabue, the NFL commissioner, said no changes to the league, investigates the Lisa Olson incident. Joe, do you see Patrick Sullivan being a scapegoat in this whole affair, perhaps?
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, Sullivan has handled his job and handled it well over the years, and right now they're pointing fingers at him when he had absolutely nothing to do with the situation, except maybe he did fail to report it to Mr. Kiam as quickly as he should have. In that case, that's something they need to decide in the organization.
And something that the NFL will investigate. A special investigator will be appointed by the commissioner, and the speculation is it will come from the Harvard Law School, since most of the hearings will be held here in the Boston area. Wilson's pass complete for a first down. Diving catch by Irving Fryer. There's Irving Fryer, who presented perhaps the only light note in the entire Lisa Olson affair, where he said the only good thing he could see about it was that for once he wasn't involved in a New England Patriots controversy.
Oh, he has been in the middle of controversies over the last several years. Oh, what a hit! Whew. Terrific hit out there by Stargell on the tight end Cooks, and Cook manages to get up, but I tell you, the rookie lays a mighty good hit on Eric Severs, actually, number 85, on the right side of the screen. Just as the ball gets there, what Stargell come in, and woo-wee! Severs might have been better off had he held that pass. He actually missed the ball before Stargell got there. You won't see this number 85 drop very many of them either, Tom.
He was number 1 in the AFC in tight end receptions, and number 1 in New England with 54 in 1989. Wilson throws an interception. Clifton picks it off. Kyle Clifton. 3-yard line. A 39-yard return of the Wilson interception by Kyle Clifton.
Magnificent catch by Clifton, one-handed. Look at that. He gets his arm out there, and tell you, for a linebacker, he looks like quite a ball carrier here. He's using his blockers rather well. Hasty gets out in front nicely, and then big Bruce Armstrong comes across. Or actually, Damian Johnson, the former Giant, makes the tackle. Nice catch, one-handed catch. Hasty out in front, and then number 68, Damian Johnson, the former New York Giant offensive lineman, gets in there to make the play.
Good hands. Those linebackers often will show you those hands of stone, but Clifton with a nifty one-handed interception. O'Brien rolling and throws it away. Up into row 1. That's the biggest cheer of the day from the fans as they take the football.
Well, O'Brien didn't have anyone to throw to, so he threw it really up for grabs. Here, you folks get it. One of y'all, there's about 1,000 of you. I figured he couldn't throw that one incomplete. Somebody had to make the catch.
Mark Wilson said he was disappointed after the preseason when Grogan was named the starting quarterback. Said he was getting more comfortable with the Patriots offense, but look at the day he has had against the Jets, 10 of 27.
Yeah, and it's not all his fault. You know, when guys drop passes, your offensive linemen foul up, you fall behind. Sure, Mark Wilson hasn't played as well as he'd like, but he's not as bad as those numbers are.
Blair Thomas stopped at the 1-yard line. 2.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and the Jets with a 31-6 lead and on the verge of adding insult to injury to Wilson and his Patriot teammates. Do you go to Tommy Hodson for the fourth quarter just for experience reasons?
Hey, Tom, I think that's a good idea. Sure. I mean, realistically, these Pats are not moving the ball, and Wilson's getting very little time to